TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Diamond, your State Farm Insurance agent in DeKalb. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Diamond and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Don't forget Kids Eat for Free on Thursday. For delivery or pickup, go to pizzavilla.com or call 815-758-8116. Elder Care Services of DeKalb. Safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay in home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org. My Insurance Guy in Sycamore covers Medicare to auto care and everything in between. Stop by at 204 South Main Street in Sycamore. Call 815-899-0950 or online at myinsuranceguy.com. And welcome into TD Ryan Unleashed, podcast number 59. Honored to have privilege with us the candidate for the DeKalb County Treasurer, Derek Shaw, joining us with us right now. Derek, how you doing, my friend?
Doing good. Nice to be with you, TD Ryan.
Thank you so much for joining us here. Of course, Derek, the definition of the party here, I was going to read that for you in a minute here about what the DeKalb County Treasurer is, both the treasurer and the collector of DeKalb County. As a collector, the officer prepares bills and receipts for collection for real estate taxes, drainage taxes, but I had no idea what that was, and mobile home taxes within the county. The collector will collect and invest and distribute more than $302 million in property taxes this year. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But, Derek, first of all, welcome. And first thing I want to do in doing research of this interview, your service to our country. I want to thank you so much for serving our country. We're just talking about,
welcome.
Mayor Colin Barnes at DeKalb was a paratrooper as well. And you were telling me off the air about an injury sustained. And that's hampered you your whole life, hasn't it?
Well, not my whole life. Since August 25th, 2006, had a hard landing.
Well, not from the womb, no. But, yeah. So tell us about why did you go in the military?
I joined serve my country. I've always felt that public service is important, civic duty at least for me to do. I was able to, and I wasn't. I was good shape. I was a good runner back then. So you do a lot of running in airborne school.
In boots, right?
Yeah. In boots. Yep. And then we get there, and you're a paratrooper. You're gonna be running with bayonets fixed to like assault rifles and stuff like that. So it's pretty high
intensity.
High intensity atmosphere for sure.
And what about the discipline aspect as you turned it into your professional life and you worked? I see you went to Northern Illinois University as well. How did you incorporate that in the rest of your life?
Yeah, being an automated field artillery tactical data system specialist in the 82nd Airborne Division, it taught me how to pay attention to details, be task oriented, and when I went to grad school at Kansas State University for my master's in public administration, I learned a lot about public budgeting, and so I think I'm a good fit for this position. Yeah,
the bottom line is what a lot of people are concerned about, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk. Why did you decide to run? What made you decide to say, you know what, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring? Because, there's so much negativity around now, Derek, and especially when it comes to running office. And on Facebook, it's like the wild, wild west. People can say anything they want about you and pretty much would be able to back that up. Boy, what are your thoughts diving in when you do this?
Well, I mean, we need to find people that are willing to do, this kind of work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of scrutiny. There's a lot of negative connotation when it comes to politics these days, contemporary politics. It doesn't have to always be that way, but unfortunately, it has been that during contemporary times with our very divisive national politics. I think as someone who's running for a county office, it's more important that I focus on those type of issues and in the context of this political race, which, although it is a political campaign, it's administrative position.
Well, I've interviewed people running for the county board, and we just had Becky Springer, the current treasurer of DeKalb County, and I asked her about whether it needs to be Republican or a Democrat. And what are your thoughts about that? Should we have in positions like a treasurer, should that be a Democrat or Republican, and what difference would that make?
Well, the difference is if you have the county, commission appoint someone like she was, they're going to appoint someone that has the kind of interests or
background. Becky came from 20 years at the credit
union.
Maybe
the ideological position that they have. Whereas if you elect a county treasurer and collector, you can have someone more representative of what people want. So
okay, now we talked about Christine Johnson, the history of this job, and again, you're coming from not too long here. Christine Johnson, longtime DeKalb County Treasurer, who'd been elected 7 times over the past 25 years, retired in December. That's when Becky was appointed, and then Becky won in the election in 2022 as well. So now, well, let's talk about what is responsible for the position here, because there's a lot going on, a lot of stuff I didn't know. But I just thought I'd go off the frequently, or the what I printed out from the internet. This is from AI, so for all we know, it could be wrong. But let's just go talk about some of the key duties and responsibilities: tax collection, prepare, mail, and collect real estate, drainage, and mobile home taxes. Do you want to change the way it's being done now, Derek, as far as you know, or what changes would you make there, if any?
Well, the changes that might be done by an official that's a Democrat versus a Republican might not be so much the process per se. A lot of this is done by statute, in county ordinances and the procedures they already have set up. It's more that while in the custody of the county treasurer and collector, that you would be able to invest in state-approved funds that you think, to gain money on those funds while under your custody.
Yeah, that's something
it might be different than what a Republican might do, choosing a Democrat.
I think many of us didn't realize that money is invested, or while you guys collect it, it's invested for a while, then you distribute it, right?
Right. Yep,
So in terms of those investment opportunities, is it just strictly like you put it in a CD, or are we?
There's a list the state provides of what the county clerks and county treasurer and collectors can use.
Do you feel you could, looking over that list, or have you had a chance to look at it over? Would you invest differently, perhaps, or a different way?
I would try to support those investments that I thought would help foster some more progressive causes in a sense, especially like firefighter and police, retirement funds.
Yeah, the pension funds, yes.
Pension funds, and try to make more money for that. If you make more money with that, you could potentially, because of the obligation that the state puts on counties of funding your own services, we could potentially lower property taxes.
Really? Okay. That's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
Now, we mentioned a distribution and investment. Now, Becky was telling us that what you have.
I mean, the
30
teacher pension too, of course.
Oh, sure. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But what you have, I think, 30 days to get it from the collection to the entities that get it, right? I think it's 170-something entities that actually receive, 180 taxing districts that get that money. So you have that 30 days to work with that money to make more money. I didn't realize that. I thought it just sat there.
Yeah. Even the government invests. Yeah.
Tax sales. Conducts annual tax sales for unpaid property tax. This is another thing I didn't know anything about. I talked to people, they didn't either. So I can, and if you could dummy this down for us, Derek, I can purchase other people's taxes, what they owe. Is that correct? And then they'll pay me then at that point.
Yeah, that's how collections normally work.
Really? Okay. So say John Doe owes $100. I buy that for what, $50, and then I get the 100 from him. Is that how that works?
It probably depends on what the type of loan is. It's more like a case by case basis.
Do you know if people take advantage of that? Do people do that?
I'm not aware of. I'm sure people, in a sense, take advantage of if they get the money paid back. That
right.
The original person owned that.
But people aren't investing by buying other people's taxes, or maybe they are.
I know it's
hard.
It sounds like an unsafe practice to try to make money. I don't think that's the best options for a county treasurer to try to do. I would try to find more sound investments.
But you do that every year, though. I guess you have that conducts annual tax sales for unpaid property tax. I did not know that.
Sales make me profitable, but the buying it wouldn't be necessarily.
Okay.
So,
all right. Very good. Because it's already delinquent.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Financial management acts as the county's banker, managing county funds. We're just talking about that, records and revenues.
I public budgeting training for my master's in public administration at program at Kansas State University. I know that Becky Springer has a bachelor's degree in economics. That's great. But I have an MBA.
So what kind of things were they teaching you with that kind of master's degree? When we talk about economics
running budgets,
and the money,
how to set up Excel spreadsheets, stuff like that. How to run finance, basically.
So when we talk about hitting the ground running, we talked about people when they want to settle into the office and kind of figure out which way the wind's blowing. But in this case, you want to hit the ground running. It sounds like you're ready to do that.
Yeah, I have the training for it. I've been in academia for a while, and I'm looking forward to doing something else. I have a lot of a lot of training and stuff. So I think I'm a better candidate for the job to do this.
And finally, Service and Information provides online tax lookup and payment options. So tell us about that too, because I know we talked about going online and a paperless.
Yeah, that's something
office.
I like that. I just paid my property taxes, and it was very convenient.
Okay.
Just did one simple payment, was online, and I applaud that. I would continue that. I think less clutter, going paperless, saving trees.
Well, I was against. I'm an old school person. I
Yeah.
write a check in my ARP magazine. I'm showing my age right there. 7% of Americans still write checks. I am one of those 7% that still write checks. But that's what I'm going to ask you now. We're talking about Springer here in an article about her. She says oversees implementation of a new online payment platform and paperless billing. The new online payment platform accepts Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, PayPal Credit, and Venmo, which I thought Venmo went out of business. But that's not cryptocurrency, she told me. But what is that? And what are your thoughts about accepting all those different forms of payment?
I used a virtual check to make my payment.
There's
So,
another one. Now, what does that mean? How a virtual check?
well, you can provide your checkbook, the check number,
Okay.
and your routing and account number, and with the
Oh, it just comes right out of your,
just
your
paid
checking
it like
account.
the other day, just 2 days ago. So,
Okay.
yeah. So,
Well, what about all these others? It sounds confusing to me. Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal. Becky said that some of them have different options where you can, it's interest free. You can pay half and then pay the other half. And do you like that idea that people using all these different forms?
I think PayPal is a good option because people can, pay for something immediately and make payments to PayPal. So the county get the money right away from PayPal, and that's guaranteed funds. And then the rest is paid later. That's not a bad idea. Where I would differ from her is I want to show more transparency in the position, not just put it like how a banker might explain how the public funds are distributed, but I want to put it like 10th grade reading level kind of type of transparency when it comes to county public funds. And that's one big difference I would make. It would be more readily accessible online.
All right, yeah, like the dummy books. I love the dummy books.
Yeah. Just, I think that's important to make accountable more to the taxpayer is not just simplifying in of course, want to instill trust in our county government, but also that we make it clear to how it's being spent and distributed.
Now, help us understand for an old person like myself. Like, just let's talking about PayPal. You were saying PayPal. So I owe $20,000 to the government. I don't have $20,000 is in my account,
Yeah.
but they'll pay that, and then I pay them back. So they're the bank essentially.
They're the fine.
I mean, I know this isn't your forte per se, but if that's is that essentially how that works?
Well, if they finance you, the credit line that much.
So you would be just like applying
that's
for a loan.
Yeah, basically, so it's just a line of credit,
Okay.
and you can apply for like any other line of credit. And then the government we get the money right away. We don't have to make payments just with them. Instead, they do it with a private company, and it takes us out, and that helps streamline the process.
And does it complicate things to have that many different forms of payment being accepted?
I don't think so.
Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal Credit, and
Because otherwise you got to work with those who owe money, and you give them less options, and you kind of like hamstring the county's ability to, under statute of what we can do to, get past dues for taxes, property taxes, and other assessment.
And what about Venmo? I don't even know what that is. Is that still? I thought that was cryptocurrency. Is Venmo just another form of payment?
I'm not the biggest fan of Venmo because I think transparency is important, and I think it's important we know that who's paying what, or what's owed. So maybe that would be one point I would disagree with her on.
All right. Another point that Becky had is the office isn't just about numbers. This is quoting Becky Springer now. I'm committed to making it easier for residents to manage their taxes and ensuring every dollar is handled with care. But she talked about simplifying things, just like you just did, Derek, about helping us understand. She was talking about a property tax bill. But, we get our property tax bills, but I don't look at it that closely. But if somebody walk me through that slowly, and that's kind of what you're talking about doing too, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty itemized, but I think people have issues with, I think, is abbreviations governments tend to use, and explanations of what those are, making that apparent instead of having readily apparent, and not just having people having to Google things and try to figure out what is this
Yeah, because
line
we hear
mean.
the ESA and the RA and hear all this stuff and the
Yeah.
equalize, assess value, and we're just lost. You know?
Right, right. Yeah, it could be very cumbersome.
And then I get to know your real estate tax bill. That was the one I was talking about there. Now, mobile home collections. Why is that? Why is that separate? Why wouldn't mobile home collections be included, or as far as you know?
The Homestead Act, there's tax exemptions for disabled veterans, such as myself, that pay lower amounts or separate amounts. They might be exempt from, say, property taxes, for example.
Oh, okay. And then I know there's this thing for seniors too. I don't have that written down here, but I know.
Yeah.
Right, they can defer payment.
Right. And that's an area of concern that I have, is that seniors are being mistreated with assessments happening every year, and that they'll see their neighbor whose house will be worth, less than theirs, and they'll be assessed a higher value,
Right.
just because they're trying to get the Homestead Act, credit for that.
Uh-huh.
So the government, in their view, is continuing, like Melody, reassessing it, and not in a fair way, not for everybody every year, but only for those. They're trying to keep increasing the rates on them.
Okay.
It makes seniors feel like they're being pushed out, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I know. And most of them are on fixed income at this point anyway, right?
Exactly.
So yeah.
And for tax and Social Security, I mean, that's all really problem, So.
Now, I have here, and again, these are all frequently asked questions, and there's a series of questions, but delinquent tax sales information. Is that somebody, obviously, with two sets of books, or they have one set of books for the people? Is that what we're talking about there?
Yeah. I
Kind
think
of fudging the numbers there?
could be. It depends on.
But is that something your office
Which
invests?
party are we talking about?
Oh, well, this is just, again, this is on the website, for the Treasurer and Collector website, and they have frequently asked questions, and one of the one is delinquent tax sales information, but I don't have that. I didn't list out all the questions, but
Okay.
you guys aren't an enforcement agency. You're not.
No, there's furls are made for those purposes. And,
Okay. So you would call that
sales
to
are
the
made-
attention.
Sales are made for that. Yeah, so others can try to, profit off that. So, again, I think PayPal and Apple Pay, those are some good options to try to get money in the county coffers quicker,
Okay.
invest those funds, and then redistribute as required per statute.
And then you report to the county board. For instance, we interviewed Andy Sullivan, the sheriff. I didn't realize that Andy Sullivan, the sheriff, reports to the DeKalb County board every month. And it says here the treasurer reports to the county board the amount of money invested in banks listed by account. So you guys are transparent. Obviously, your office is very transparent, even to the other people in the DeKalb County board. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I want to make it not just transparent to the county board, but to the taxpayer. That's the county board will understand their own
Right.
material, their own language, their own
All the little
documents.
acronyms and yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think a separate, like an executive summary of sorts, for the public sector would be helpful here.
Okay. And then finally, again, I didn't get a chance to bring this up with Becky, but I didn't even know this. The treasurer serves as an ex officio treasurer for the DeKalb County 911 Emergency Telephone System Board.
Yeah,
Do you know about that? What is that going on there?
you got to pay everybody. You write checks. We're writing checks for everybody, so got to pay them.
Well, we're
gotta
paying
pay-
for 911, essentially, right?
Yeah, nothing's free.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is a paid position as well. Whether it's her or I, we're going to be receiving $107,000 a year of taxpayer money.
Okay.
And I'm going to be transparent about that. And that's not a big, huge line in the budget, obviously, but that, we want to make sure that we're
Every dollar, right? We want to know
every
where it's going.
dollar, is being, our time's being used and our resources are being used wisely,
Okay.
and competently.
Yeah, I don't think anybody have a problem with the 911. That's for sure.
I don't think so.
Now, when I was researching, I went on Facebook. DeKalb County, Illinois Treasurer has their own Facebook page. And for instance, DeKalb County Treasurer's Office collects and invests, they tell, $208 million. A quick reminder, mobile home local service taxes are due today. What do you think about social media in terms of using it for your office, Derek? How do you want to use that for your office?
I think it's important to make public statements on issues that pertain to people in our community. Whether it's to stand for social justice, or stand for stand against government corruption, and stand for transparency. Issues that people in DeKalb County care about.
Hmm.
I know that Illinois, as a state, has a lot of reputation of being corrupt, but we don't want to have that kind of reputation
No,
here. So
no. I like to
we
think
want to stand apart as much as we can from that reputation,
we're talking to Derek.
which is a bipartisan one, unfortunately.
We're talking to Derek Shaw, who is running for the DeKalb County Treasurer and Collector. Now, I see in 2025 you ran for the DeKalb County School District Board, and I have your interview from that. Just a couple things I want to touch on. First of all, tell us, you graduate teaching assistant for the Department of Earth, Atmosphere, and Environment at
Yeah.
Northern Illinois. Tell us about that, Derek. That sounds cool.
Yeah, I've taught introduction to environmental geography, world regional geography, and this semester I taught introduction to human geography. I usually
I never knew we interviewed. Sorry for that. We interviewed for someone north. I didn't know there was all these different types of geography. Like what's
Yeah.
human geography? What is that?
Human geography is like how human beings affect the atmosphere, the environment, the ecosystem, water.
Yeah, there's a huge one.
Water issues, water rights, territorial disputes, archaeology,
Sure.
whether ancient or contemporary,
Wow.
how they affect the landscape, and how, the topographical relief affects human life and isolation of different cultures.
Wow.
So,
Cool.
Yeah.
So what's that? So you're teaching that at Northern, right?
Yeah, I'm teaching it. I teach in Davis Hall at NIU usually. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first semester I had less than 100 students. So,
Really?
yeah, it's just 22.
Does that surprise you, or how do you account for that?
Well, I think it's with real regional geography, they cap it at 100 students, because it's just too much to have more. The 101 I
Kind of
had,
flooding the market there with.
Yeah, I had 126 students, and that was quite a bit. But that was online. When I did 98 students, that was in person. So.
And I see here, Derek, you were also an election judge for DeKalb County since 2020. Of course, you had a discontinue while running for office. Tell us about why you became an election judge, because more power to you. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. That was during COVID. I actually served first time as election judge when I moved here, because my home state of Oregon, we do all vote by mail.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so it's been that way since like the early 1990s. But yeah, I was in the Barsama Alumni Center, NIU. So while I have attended NIU, I've helped my fellow students, undergraduates and graduate students, and
Okay.
faculty members that live close to university, vote a lot for the first time. So
That's exciting. That
yeah,
is.
yeah. And I took all the safeguards of having a face mask on and that shield they had and everything, and signing the ballots and helping people vote. And
That's great.
yeah, a lot of procedural questions and where do I go from here, kind of stuff.
Now, I see you're living in Cortland right now, but you said you used to live in DeKalb as well, so you know the area pretty well.
Yeah, yep. We moved here in 2019. My family and I transferred from University of Nevada, Las Vegas to NIU. I was teaching politics there, and now I transferred here. I was originally in political science, and
I'd ask you about teaching in Vegas, but I know it stays in Vegas, right? So,
Yeah. Well,
but Eugene, Oregon is your native land? Were you born?
yep. Born and raised. I was born in Portland and raised in Eugene.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. We're avid runners there. So it's Tracktown, USA.
I love
Olympic
it.
trials are there.
Now, you have an AAS. What is it? AAS from Lane Community College.
Yeah,
What's that?
Associate of Applied Science, Computer Network and Operations.
Okay.
From Lane Community College, yeah.
And then a BS in Political Science.
Yep.
What is that exactly when we talk about political science? Is that
Study of political behavior, human and political institutions.
okay?
It can also involve empirically testing hypotheses, like scientific method, with statistics.
What a time to be doing that, huh? Right now.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, what a time to be studying the political system in the United States. And then University of Oregon, both of which are located in Eugene. I also have an MPA from Kansas State University as well.
Yep. I have a master's in public administration from Kansas State University, and they've really emphasized public budgeting in their program. It's because a lot of employers look for that, a lot of public agencies, and it's a great prerequisite for this position. I'm a little surprised that you can run for county treasurer and not have an MPA.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, you would think that'd be statutory requirement.
Yeah.
So you have like the training and expertise for it. But
Eliminate a lot of time that way, yeah.
it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt to have some banking background, of course. So
Now, we mentioned your involvement with the military. I see you're a member of the American Legion Post 66. Tell us about that.
yeah, I was starting to help with. I mean, I assisted with a memorial service, but because of my foot surgery and unstable foot, I didn't think I should be holding a rifle. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I'm gonna wait till I get another foot surgery and hopefully it'll be more stable.
Yeah, I'm sorry you have to go through all that.
Yeah.
Now, this is an article from last year, so I'm going to add everything. I was married for 10 years, now 11 years, right?
Yep.
2 children, was 9, now 10.
Well,
and
I have 2
4-year-old.
in my current marriage. In a
Okay.
previous marriage, I have my eldest daughter's 21, and
Oh, okay.
she lives in Oregon now.
And what's she doing, if I ask?
Well, she's autistic, but she's high functioning. But I don't know if she's gonna find a job there or not.
Okay.
You know, so
What's her interest? What does she like to do?
she has a lot of interest in like comics and like Japanese comics. Stuff like
Uh-huh.
that, you know.
The anime? Sure. Oh,
Anime, yeah.
that's red hot right now, yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess a lot of people are interested in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's great. And what
Yeah.
about the young one? What are they like these days?
Oh, our 10-year-old, he just played his first baseball game
Oh,
yesterday.
boy.
He's a great baseball player. He has an interesting strategy though. He hits really well with me, but he tries to draw the walks. You know,
Don't let him do that. No, I did that as a kid. Let him have him swing away. Gotta swing
yeah,
away.
he has quite the power though, and he's great at sliding. So,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
and
great. He'll figure that out too.
first
And then-
baseman.
And your little daughter,
Cowboy.
ballerina or dance classes, or too early for that?
I'm gonna put her in dancing soon. I know that she likes that.
Okay.
so,
Yeah, my grandkids love that. I know. That's
yeah,
great.
she's only 4. So
Yeah, well, she's got plenty of time there too.
yeah.
Now, before I let you go, and again, this is totally off subject here, but when you ran for office for the DeKalb County School Board, they asked you what are the top 3 issues the school district is facing right now, and you said bullying, which we all know is we do a suicide prevention show, and when we first did the show, it was basically about teenagers and suicide, and we got into the grade school, and it's amazing what is being said, and of course, what young people doing that too. But then one of the things you said was drug use at the Huntley Middle School. Can you tell us about that? That was a little
That's
shocking
an
to read.
issue voters had told me when I was canvassing in Cortland on that issue. That's been a concern of a lot of parents.
Really?
Yeah,
At the middle school, Huntley Middle School.
yeah. I haven't seen any data on it,
Uh-huh.
but I was echoing the concerns of parents,
Sure.
trusting that they know something I don't.
Mhm.
So I think part of this job is not thinking you know everything, but listening to your constituents.
There you go. Uh-huh.
And then responding. Yeah,
Oh.
so appropriately.
Well, again, we can't thank you enough for your service to our country. And, my wife always talks about an elevator speech. So if Doug had to give an elevator speech now, why you should become the new treasurer in November of DeKalb County, what would you tell them, Doug?
I would say that my experience as an American paratrooper deploying to Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Rita, where I earned a humanitarian service medal, had a profound impact on me and what I thought about helping other people in times of need. Although we may not be facing quite the dire financial situation that those times or that event or events incurred, I do feel that steps coming forward and serving the public is a very important thing to do, especially if you can do it, competently and honestly.
What were you doing with Katrina? God, thank you for doing that. What was that like? Oh,
Yeah. Oh, we were searching for human remains.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're stationed out of the New Orleans airport, the 2nd Airborne Division. I was in the Alpha Battery, 2nd Battalion, 319th Airborne Field Artillery Regiment.
Okay.
And then before that, I was in HSB.
So you jumped out of planes, and you were also lowered out of planes, right? Or
No,
helicopters?
I didn't repel.
You didn't repel. Okay.
I jumped out of with parachutes, C-17 and C-130 Air Force cargo jets, and a UH-60 helicopter with El Salvadorian jump masters.
Wow. As we celebrate our 250th anniversary, I don't know if you ever saw the story, Derek, and I think I called you Doug earlier. There was a paratrooper during World War II that was coming, landed, I think it was in France, and he landed on a church. Did you ever see that? And he was stuck there in the church, but he fought for his church before he was killed by the Germans. But There's a tribute there. There's a monument there for where the paratrooper landed. There's a parachute there from when he landed there. Just amazing time. You think he would have been a paratrooper in World War II if it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're something else, Derek. Again, a pleasure to meet you, sir. And again, we can't thank you enough for running for office because again, these are terrible times that people are just wild, wild west, as I said on the internet. But it's great to know that you care so much about the community, and we thank you for our service to our country. And we talked to Becky Springer, the current treasurer, and she said she'd be open to a debate. Would you be open to a debate as well?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. We can do it right here at the library.
Yeah, I think that'd be great for the public.
I do too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Derek Shaw, again, a candidate for the treasurer of DeKalb County, and that's TD Ryan Unleashed podcast number 59.